How did I end up carrying all of this? Can I ask you something? Have you ever been driving home from work and before you even pulled into the driveway, you were already exhausted? Not because your job was hard, not because your kids had done anything. You were tired before the next part of your day even started. I know I've had days like that. And one day I remember just sitting in my car. I had turned the car off, radios off, seatbelts buckled. I had grabbed my stuff and I'm in the driver's seat just kind of holding it. And I'm just sitting there. And I remember asking, like, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? Because nothing like really major had happened. Work was cool. But somehow I just felt like heavy, just like emotionally tired. And then it hit me. I wasn't tired from what God had gave me. I was tired from everything I kept picking up that he never even asked me to carry. And have you ever had those moments? Or like, have you ever felt like that? Like some of us are carrying family problems that we can't solve. We didn't put ourselves in the position as matriarch or the patriarch of the family. And we're 22, 23 years old. 20, 30 years ago, that was grandma's position, right? We're carrying grown people's emotions, them grown kids that are adults now. We're carrying guilt that doesn't even belong to us, our friendships that only survive because we keep dragging them. We keep bringing these people with us. Or what about those church responsibilities? Because we think that if we say no, we're less Christian or less spiritual. And after a while, don't we forget what our own life feels like, our own needs and our own emotions and how they need to be met? Galatians 6, like always, makes me stop and think because Paul says, carry one another's burdens. Study to show thyself approved, right? Keep that in the back. Because if you scroll down a little bit, it says each one should carry their own load. So wait, isn't that kind of contradicting? Contradicting? Because do we carry each other's burdens or do we carry our own load? Which one is it? Both. Because God never intended for you to carry what belongs to someone else forever. Now, helping someone across the street is different from carrying them for the rest of their life. Some of us have confused compassion with ownership. And that's where we start breaking because there's no boundaries being set. Okay, here's an example. Think about you're at the airport. You're looking at this conveyor belt. Everybody's luggage is there, going around in the conveyor belt. Now, while you're standing there waiting on yours, people see you and they start handing you theirs. Carry-on bags, roller luggage, luggage. But you're looking at the conveyor belt. You're like, well, dang, you just start picking up what you see. You're like, well, dang, I'll just carry that too. Then somebody else is handing you luggage. Then somebody else. By the time you get to the gate, you got all this bag, all these bags, and none of them even belong to you. Now you're mad at the airline because your shoulders hurt and there's nobody there to help you carry this baggage. Your shoulders hurt, sir, ma'am, because you kept saying yes and you kept grabbing the baggage that did not belong to you. Maybe that's where we are spiritually. Maybe we're mad at God when we actually are just exhausted from carrying bags he never checked in under our name. Let that sit. So, how does that even happen? Nobody wakes up at 35, 45 years old and says, you know what? I think I'm going to spend the rest of my life rescuing everybody else. It actually kind of starts way earlier than that. Somewhere along the way, it's almost like I became the strong one and not even intentionally. Like, I don't think most of us volunteered for this job. I think life just kind of assigned it to us, put us in this group project. Maybe you were the oldest kid. Maybe you were the parents would lean on you emotionally because they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're the one that everybody thinks is just so mature and they see how they think you're handling something. You know what I'm saying? They're like, well, maybe I can talk to them about XYZ. But can I tell you something? Sometimes we can be so mature, or you're so mature really means we're asking you to carry adult problems while you're still a kid, right? Because nobody teaches you how to put that down. So you just kind of grow up. And everybody calls you first. Need somebody to babysit? You. Need somebody to fix the family drama? Phone's ringing. Yep, that's the FC. They're calling you. And after years of hearing, I knew I can count on you, girl. Bro, I knew I could borrow this money from you. Being needed kind of starts like feeling like you're being loved. And that can be dangerous because eventually you stop asking, what does God want from me? And you start asking, what does everybody else need from me? So let's be for real, because even Jesus had boundaries. Think about it. Light bulb moment. There were sick people he walked past. There were cities he left. There were crowds he withdrew from. Luke 5:16 says, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Often withdrew. Not once, but often. Jesus understood something I still have to remind myself of. Rest is not quitting. And boundaries, baby, they are not selfish. And sometimes the obedience looks like walking away. Sometimes the holiest word you can say, girl, is no. But see, this is where it kind of gets tricky. Because the longer you carry something, the more normal it feels. Until one day, you don't even know you're carrying it anymore. So it's almost like carrying something kind of becomes your identity. Like, have you ever watched somebody walk around? They got this heavy backpack and they're carrying it all day. After a while, they stop adjusting it. Their shoulders just kind of like accept the weight. And I think that's kind of what happens to us emotionally. You become the fixer or the peacekeeper, the family therapist, or the dependable one. You're the one that everybody leans on until one day somebody asks, sis, how are you doing? And what's our answer? I don't know. Or the universal, I'm good. Because we've spent so much time managing everybody else's emotions, we have not checked in with our own. So let's think about Martha, our girl Martha. In Luke 10, it's like she says she was distracted by all the preparations, not sinful preparations, good ones, right? Like necessary ones. Now, Jesus didn't tell Martha to stop serving. He told her she was carrying too much. Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is necessary. Now, check this out. Let me ask you, what if the thing stressing you out isn't even on God's list of to do things for today? I've had to ask myself that many a times because sometimes I mistake urgency for calling, or just because something needs to be done doesn't mean that it belongs to me to get it done. So, how do we actually put something down without feeling guilty? Because usually, ain't that the hardest part? Because maybe God never asked you to carry it. So, let's go back a little bit. Remember the question I asked in the beginning? What are you carrying that God never actually asked you to pick up? Maybe it's your 40-year-old child's life questions. Maybe it's their decisions. Maybe it's keeping everybody together because now grandma and them gone and somebody has to do it. And maybe it's even trying to save somebody who's comfortable staying broken. Then you have that you're like making sure everybody likes you, everybody's okay with you, and you're trying to prove that you're enough. But what I've been learning, love doesn't require me to carry what belongs to somebody else. Sometimes loving somebody literally looks like letting them, hear me out, sis, carry the weight that teaches them to depend on God instead of me. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5 and 6, 1 Peter 5 and 7. Now notice something. It doesn't say carry it until you're about to break. Then give God the pieces that are left. It says cast it. What does cast it mean? To throw it, to release it, trust him with it. Maybe this week, instead of asking, what else do I need to do? We ask, what can I finally put down? Maybe your peace isn't waiting on a better job. Maybe it wasn't or isn't waiting on your family to change. It's not waiting on the apology you've been hoping for. Your peace has been sitting underneath a pile of responsibilities that were never yours to begin with. Have you ever answered the phone for somebody and when the screen lights up, you feel great? You've had an amazing day. As soon as you say hello or what's up, the life, soul, and spirit is literally being drained from your life and your being, holding a conversation with somebody, trying to bring them through issues and problems that have nothing to do with you. That's where you need to build your boundaries, right? Before we leave today, I want you to think back to the question we started with. What have you been carrying for years that God never asked you to carry in the first place? And if you can literally name it, or you're thinking about a person, today, put it down, lay it down, give it to God. That's not your burden to carry. That's not your cross. Now listen, I know this conversation has found somebody exactly where they are in this moment. Share this episode with one person who you know that's been carrying the weight of 1,000 soldiers for too long. And if this podcast has become a place where you feel seen, heard, or challenged, leave a review. I'd appreciate it because it helps more people find me in these types of conversations. And I'll give you a shout out in an upcoming episode. But until next time, stay filtered, but always remember, you're still covered.